IAS Academy.
Hello all, welcome to IAS Academy. So let's start our today's session of the Editorial Daily of discussing the daily editorial analysis. So let's get started with our today's session. In our today's session, we are going to talk about an important article which is the moving from drone purchases to the drone partnership. Okay, see, moving from drone purchases to drone partnership. This is the article which is mentioned in the Hindu paper of today. The author of this article is Adya Mahadevan. Adya Mahadevan. Okay, what is this article is? The article examines India's growing drone industry. Just a second. Yeah, it emphasizes on India's growing drone industry. Okay, so what is it this about, and argues that it merely develops the merely buying drones is not enough. Merely buying the drones is not enough, but instead India should build long-term partnership between the armed forces, industry and research institutions to ensure continuous innovation and military readiness. This is what the article is talking about. What is this? Let's see the background of the article. Basically, the government of India has announced $2 billion of drone procurement plan for domestic manufacturers, for especially for domestic manufacturers. Okay, so, what is the significance of being getting it to domestic manufacturers? Is it promotes the Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is the self-reliance in defense. Okay, and it strengthens the indigenous drone manufacturing in our country itself, and indicates a shift from expensive platforms like fighter jets and tankers to smaller, cheaper, and more adaptable drones to our country. Okay, because for drones and different technologies, we are mostly relying on the other countries, which are very expensive. So when we get it domesticated to our country, when manufacturing happens in our country, it will be very cheap and affordable. However, the author also argues that procurement systems must evolve. The procurement systems must evolve to suit the unique nature of drone technology. Unique nature of the drone technology. Okay, see, basically these drones are very much used in the warfares, right? So when you see the Russia Ukraine wars and this West Asian wars and all, when you see this, apart from these missiles and all, drones are being very much used, right? So in this case, these drones are very much useful in the warfares. So coming to the economics of the drones, traditionally previously the military strength was associated with the fighter aircrafts, tanks and large warships. When comparatively to the recent conflicts have changed the perception, like when you see the Russia Ukraine war, as I said, the Iran drone operations on Israel's and the Israel's extensive drone usage, we can make out of key observations on the modern warfare, which is increasingly relies on micro drones. Basically, it is increasing on the micro drones. Okay, see, micro drones, and you can see this what you call um, which is nano drones, and what you called first FPVs, FPV drones. These are first person view drones. These are the modern warfare drones which are coming up. Okay, so let's see the context of this article completely, and we'll see what has India has taken up the key aspects what India has taken up, and the innovations which is being leaded for the drone domestication. Okay, let's see the editorial context and the introduction and the challenges of economic drone warfare and all. Now, let's see. The first is it's reforming India's military drone procurement strategy, which is linked to your GS paper 3 of internal security, science and technology and defense economics. And coming to the context of this article, the context is generally the Indian government has planned 2 billion drone procurement. 2 billion drone procurement from domestic manufacturers, signaling a strategic shift towards indigenous manufacture rather than the exports. We are relying on the indigenous manufacturing and acquisition of smaller, more affordable tactical systems. Okay, now let's see the introduction of the topic. The introduction is the India's $2 billion commitment to domestic drone manufacturers. It marks a critical shift in military strategy, which is moving away from solely relying on large, sophisticated platforms towards deploying smaller, cheaper, and more attributable systems. Okay, so however, to maximize this investment, India's procurement practices must evolve to keep pace with the rapid technology changes inherent to the tactical drone warfare. Okay, because when you see this, basically we are importing all the drones from the other countries. When we rely on the indigenous manufacturers in our country, then we can easily get a cheaper and more attributable systems. Okay, and however, the technology also have to be being updated day by day. Okay, which have to match to the drone warfare of the country. Next, coming to the changing economics of the drone warfare, the first one is asymmetric cost advantage. Asymmetric cost advantage, which says that modern conflicts, when you see the modern conflicts like Russia, Ukraine, and the West Asian, it shows the cheap micro and nano drones, which can impose heavy costs on the defenders, since it intercepting them often requires expensive hardware. Okay, so the next one is the dual use innovation. Dual use innovation in a sense, then when commercial drones can be quickly adopted for the military roles. For example, the FPV, what we have discussed previously. FPV drones, which are retrofitted with warheads, have emerged as low cost but effective battlefield tools. Okay, next. Next, see the challenges of rapid obsolescence. What is this? The first thing is the short shelf life. Short shelf life, which unlike the tanks or the fighter jets, tactical drones may become the obstacle within 2 to 3 years. Okay, obsolete within 2 to 3 years. Next, the evolving threat environment, in the sense the enemy electronic warfare systems can adopt quickly for something jamming a new drone signals within 6 to 8 weeks. This is the evolving threat environment of the challenge. This is one of the challenge. And the next challenge, which has to be regarded as the need for agile adaptability, in the sense the effective drone manufacture, which demands the rapid design modification and field level innovation, such as shifting from radio links to fiber optic controls to bypass the jamming. This is what the challenges which we face. Okay, next, because yes, obviously when a drone is coming with, it can easily be tracked by some other systems, right? So we have to be in a position like no jamming has to be happen. Okay, now let's say the limitations of the current Indian procurement frameworks. What are the limitations? Is the first one is positive steps taken. What are the positive steps taken? The draft defense equation procedure, DAP, the draft defense equation procedure allows the procurement of commercial off the shelf cost system and streamlines the upgrades. Okay, next is the financial flexibility. Coming to the financial flexibility of considering the financial flexibility as a limitation, the defense procurement manual provides a buffer for unfrozen repairs and maintenance needs. Okay, next is the transactional trap. The transactional trap, in the sense the current frameworks still rely on buyer seller tenders. It relies still on buyer seller tenders to fixed products which do not suit the continuous technological iteration. Okay, these are the few limitations of the current Indian procurement frameworks. Okay, coming to the way forward and moving to the drone partnership, way forward of this article, the first one we can say is the managed service contracts. Managed service contracts, which means See, the tactical drone procurement should resemble IT managed service contracts rather than one-time hardware purchases. Rather than one-time hardware purchases, the drone procurement should resemble the IT managed service contracts. And the second thing is long-term agreements. Long-term agreements and shift from one-off purchases to long-term agreements with manufacturers. Okay. Next, why it matters means such agreements provide demand predictability for industry. It increases the demand predictability for industry and it assures the supply and surge production capacity during the conflict or any frameworks for continuous improvements, software updates, and quick adoption of evolving electronic warfare threats. Okay. This is the way forward which you can write for this article, you can mention for this article. And coming to the conclusion, then India's domestic drone industry as the technical foundation to support advanced defense partnership to fully capitalize on the $2 billion commitment, which procurement must move beyond static hardware delivery towards a dynamic contractual architecture that emphasizes sustained capability, continuous upgrades, and collaborative innovations. Okay, what is the key takeaway which we can take from this article is India's drone strategy will succeed not just by buying more systems, but by building adaptive long-term partnerships that evolve as the fast as the battlefield. Okay, this is the key takeaway which we can take from this article. Okay, yes, this is about the article. Now moving on to the next article. So the next article for today is the pressure of counting India. The pressure of counting India. What does it means? This article basically highlights the challenges which is faced by the census enumerators who are conducting the Indian census exercises. Indian census exercise. So that while the census basically is a crucial, which is crucial for the governance and the policy making of the nation, but the article reveals the difficulty of the working conditions, the safety concerns, and the technological issues and the administrative pressures faced by the field workers who are going for the census in and around. Okay, now let's see. What is the census basically? Census is, it is the official process of collecting information, the information from the population of the country. Okay, this is what the census means. Coming to the constitutional basis of this census, it is conducted under the Constitution. Census Act 1948. Okay, it is conducted under the Census Act 1948, which is carried out by the Register Council and Census Commission of India. Okay, so what is the importance of the census is the census basically provides a population size of the country, the housing conditions, the literacy, the occupation, the migration, and the socio-economic status of the nation. Okay, so this data helps the government in what way? In what way this all the data helps the government is it helps in policy formulation, it helps in the welfare schemes to be provided by the government to the people, and the resource allocations, the delimitation and planning also can be happened by having this census. Okay, so let's see what the article is talking about and what is the background and what are the Indian census of 2027 is going on, and we will see. Okay, let's get see. Basically, the topic is India's digital census transition, which is the field changes and the macro implications. It is completely about the challenges which is being faced by the workers who are going to the fields and to collect the census. Okay, it is linked to the paper of GS paper 1, which is the population and associate issues, GS paper 2, governance, transparency, federalism, and social justice, and for GS paper 3, cyber security. Okay, for this all three papers, this article is connected. Okay, now let's see the context of this topic. What does this means? See, the ongoing house listing and housing operation phase. The first phase which is going in the census 2027 is the ongoing house listing and housing operations phase for the 2027 census is facing operational friction. It is facing the operational friction like technology hurdles and supervisory data and manipulation. So these concerns raises the serious question over the data integration before major national exercise such as the delimitation and caste enumeration. Okay, let's see what is the introduction of this article is basically India's transition to its first fully digital census. Basically, this is the first fully digital census. The 2027 census is the first fully digital census which the India has come up with. It makes a major administrative leap towards the modern policy formulation. However, the field level bottlenecks, I mean, they are facing a very much technological issues and all. So digital limitations and supervisory pressure which is threaten the accuracy of the demographic database, since census data will influence the welfare delivery, constituencies delimitations and caste enumeration. Its integrity is central to governance, federalism and the national security. Okay, coming to the operational friction and crisis of the data integrity while doing this census of 2027 is, the first one is top down manipulation. In the sense, the enumerators report pressure from supervisors to alter field realities, to alter the field realities such as falsely marking access to the treated tap water treated tap water, toilets or the LPG connections. So this is done to reflect positively on the flagship schemes such as the Jal Jeevan Mission and Swachh Bharat missions. Okay, the next one is human resource deficits. Human resource deficits like dependence on coursed private school teachers, dependence on the coursed private school teachers and inadequate protection for female enumerates in hostile environments weaken the quality and efficiency of the data collection. Basically, this has to be taken in a very uh, way forward consideration. Okay, next, coming to the digital divide, poor mobile connectivity. Obviously, in some areas we have the network connections, in few areas we don't have that network connections. This might be this will be one of the problem when it is digitalized, like poor mobile connectivity in rural areas and urban high rise forces which enumerates to duplicate work on paper. Again, they have to duplicate the complete work on paper and then they have to do it back in the the online process. Okay, the next is the public exceptions of immediate welfare benefits also creates a mistrust and transitional hostility during the enumeration. Okay, now this is the operational frictions and crisis data integrity of the census 2027. Now, coming to the methodological and privacy vulnerabilities which have been facing is self-enumeration flaws. Self-enumeration flaws that the web portal for the self-enumeration may create data distortions. It can create data distortions like complex socio-economic indicators such as informal occupations, migration status, and disabilities. Often they require trained interpretation rather than the unassisted self-reporting. Okay, this is the first methodological and privacy vulnerabilities. Next, the cyber security and BYOD risk. BYOD risk, like more than 30 lakh enumerates using the personal smartphones. They are using their personal smartphones to collecting the data, which creates an endpoint security risks. Obviously, we can't trust any of them who are going for the analysis of taking the data from the people. They are obviously using their personal mobiles. It is not that it is very much secure and very much confidential. Basically, any information about an people should be confidential and reliant, right? So it is a collecting the data in the smartphones is also a security risk. Next, granular demographic data which is stored in mass centralized database may become vulnerable to breaches, profiling or misuse. Okay, so basically where we store this data in a complete database, right? So when we store this, it is not uh, we are seeing the cyber threats which are happening. If this data is misused, what would happen? It will be very dangerous, right? So This can also be one threat. Okay, this is one vulnerability. Coming to the macro constitutional and policy implementations of this article is the governance cost of delay. The governance cost of delay in the sense, using the outdated 2011 census, which is 2011 census is almost a 15 years data, right? Using the outdated 2011 census for over 15 years has created exclusion errors in welfare schemes such as the public distribution systems, citizen born, migrated, citizens which are born and migrated or economically displaced after 2011 may remain invisible to the welfare architecture. Okay, this is one of the macro constitutional and policy implications. The second one is delimitation dilemma. Since the 2027 census will form the baseline for delimitation of parliamentary constituencies, because as we see in 1/3 of the reservation for the women candidates in the what you called the Lok Sabha and all. So this will give the delimitation of parliamentary constituencies, this census. Okay, so this may create federal friction because southern states which successfully controlled the population growth may lose the relative Lok Sabha representation and financial devolution compared to northern states with higher population growth. This is the one of the major thing which has been happening from so many days, that when the South Indians have controlled their population, the northern states has now what happens, has increased the population. Now what happens when the delimitation comes on, the participation of northern states will be more high when compared to the southern states. So this is one of the basic limitations of this article. Okay, next is the caste data debate. In the sense, see, the comprehensive caste enumeration can enable evidence-based affirmative action and targeted welfare. However, it may also intensify the political polarization, which hardens the caste identities and generate legal and political demands to breach the 50% reservation cap. Okay, this is one of the thing. Coming to the way forward from the article, which we can take is, which can which we can what you say, you can decouple census from welfare program metrics. Decouple the census from the welfare program metrics, like census data collection must not be linked to the success indicators of political welfare schemes. Okay, so enumerators must be protected from the pressure to show the artificial progress. Okay, the next one is strengthen field capacity. In the sense, adequate training, security support, grievance redressals, and realistic timelines are essential to improve the data quality. Okay, the next one is build the robust digital infrastructure. In the sense of offline functionality, the secure devices, encrypted data transfer, and reliable server capacity must be ensured before scaling digital enumerations. Okay, next. The next one is enforce cybersecurity protocols. In the sense, the strict endpoint security, device authentication, data minimization, and audit trails are needed to prevent breaches and unauthorized profiling, because the data which we are collecting for the census is much large, more data which is very crucial and have to be kept in a very what you called in a very secret manner and all. But if this data leaks, if any cyber attack has happened on this data, it will be a very massive this thing. Okay, so this enforcement of cyber security protocols have to be come. Next is to manage the federal sensitivities. In the sense, the government must initiate transparent dialogue on delimitation, representation, and fiscal federalism to address the concerns of population stabilizing states. Okay, coming to the conclusion of this article, we can say India's digital census is necessary step towards the modern governance, but technology cannot compensate. For administrative corruption and systemic vulnerabilities. So, to protect the sanctity of India's demographic base, the state must ensure data integrity, cyber security, field level autonomy, and federal consensus before using the census outcomes for delimitation, welfare targeting, and caste-based policy decisions. Okay, so what is the key takeaway which we can take out from this article is a digital census will succeed not merely through technology but through trust, transparency, field integrity, and the constitutional sensitivity. Okay, so this is what the article is talking about, the census of 2027. So all the workers who are working for the census 2027 should have the protectivity, because not only female workers are also working on this census. So when they go for a field, there should be a security, there should be they shouldn't face any vulnerabilities from anything. Okay, so the government has to come up with few initiatives of the security, the data security. The data shouldn't get any attack to the cyber attacks and all. Okay, yes. And yes, that's all for today. We have seen the two articles of the drone procurement technologies and all, and about the census 2027. So make a note of it and have a clear idea. It will be very helpful for your mains answer writing. So do follow, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the daily editorial analysis, and as well as do follow our Instagram channel and as well as the Telegram channel for your UPSC preparation. So see you all soon tomorrow. See you all tomorrow with another video of editorial analysis, and thank you.